It's time for NFL Week 5 player props and anytime touchdowns. Let's talk some football. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back into another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and we are here to prop it up, baby. That's right. We are talking some NFL player props for Week 5. It's been a good year so far for us on the NFL player props, up over 4 units. Anytime touchdowns, been down a couple units, so we'll have to figure that out. But we got it rolling. Just a reminder, Week 5 NFL Best Bets is out now. Released it on Wednesday night. Go check out all those best bets, the head to head bet between me and Ryan. It was a lot of fun. So check that out. Sorry, we don't have a time for a full MLB video for Saturday game ones. I will have a short out with the best bets. I know those games start early. Life just got crazy for both of us, and we're just trying to fit this video in, and then we'll get going from there. So thanks for the patience and for the support. And speaking of that, hit that like button when you have a second. That's all we need. Hit the like button. Leave a comment below. Let me know what your favorite player prop is. Maybe you got a nice little parlay this weekend. And yeah, anything you want to say. I had someone comment yesterday just the words hi. And guess what? That helps the algorithm, helps the channel grow. So thank you guys. I appreciate that. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. We are chasing our first 7,000 subscribers, baby. That's right. So in this video, I am going to give you the most and least receiving yards given up to running backs and receivers. That's right. Sometimes people like to bet some receiving yards to running backs, so I think that's going to be an interesting one to look at. And then I'm going to give you my four best player props for Week 5, and then I have three of my favorite anytime touchdown bets. So I'm ready to get after it. Now it's time to talk some stats. All right, let's start with the least receiving yards allowed to running backs through the first 4 weeks. Not everybody bets this, but I think there's some sneaky good bets when it comes to receiving yards for running backs, so this could help. Rams, how about 41 receiving yards to running backs in the first 4 weeks? That's crazy. About 10 yards a game. That's it. Vikings surprising 60. They obviously don't do as well against receivers, but and then Falcons, who have had a good pass defense this year. You can see all these. I don't have a lot to say about each one. I just think it's really interesting to see what defenses really do well against receiving running backs and all that. So those are the top 10 least receiving yards given up. Some of this has to do with pressure too, in regards to what they can get on the quarterback, like we've talked about before. So let's go to the next one. These are the 10 teams that absolutely suck at defending the running back out of the backfield when it comes to catching. We got the Seahawks, no surprise, giving up 144. I'm surprised it's not more, to be honest with you. The Denver Broncos, 225 yards. Isn't that crazy? Through 4 weeks, one team has given up 41 receiving yards to running backs, and one team has given up 225. Chargers just give up yards everywhere. Surprising to see the Bills there, though. They do well overall as a pass defense, but defending the backfield or the running back out of the backfield is not so good. So then we got Packers, Cardinals, Jets, kind of a surprise to be there too. So those are the 10 teams that give up the most receiving yards to running backs through 4 weeks. Now let's check out the least receiving yards allowed to wide receivers. Browns, Cowboys, Falcons, three teams that are right up there in quarterback pressure percentage. It is no coincidence, that's for sure. Buffalo Bills. None of these are really surprises. The Panthers are surprised. We didn't think they'd be that good this year, but they've been pretty good on the pass defense at least. Nothing else other than that. And then Chiefs have been a good, sneaky good defense this year. Rams 527 receiving yards allowed, and then we got those Texans right up there. That is the one strength of their defense is that pass defense. So that's what we got. Let's go check out the teams that give up the absolute most in receiving yards to wide receivers. And number 32, of course, we got the Chargers. 927 receiving yards. So if you're looking at player props for receivers, I think this helps. If you're looking to go over or maybe under, if you look at the other list, so there's a lot of opportunity here, I think. Other than that, nothing that is out of the ordinary that we haven't talked about before. Vikings, we know, give up a lot of pass yards. So do the Steelers. And then we got the Titans and all that kind of stuff. So Eagles have really struggled this year in the pass defense. It's been crazy with Darius Slay and Bradbury, but just has not been the same as last year. So that's what we got. Those are the stats and research I got for you. But now it's time to talk a little Odds Jam. All right, there are some good player props to check out on Odds Jam. There's the best positive EV bets and much, much more. You guys got to go check it out. If you haven't heard before, there is a new promo code Jabo14. You get a 14-day free trial to check out absolutely everything. You have nothing to lose. 14 days, check it all out. If you don't like it, you obviously don't have to sign up. There's user-friendly videos that can tell you what each thing means and all that. Fantasy Optimizer, odds across all different sports books. It is wild, guys. We got NBA coming up, and Odds Jam is money when it comes to NBA. So, and right now they got a lot of football, different stats, and different things that you can really help your research. So, if you're someone who likes to bet every day, every week, this is awesome. So, use the promo code JABO14 for the 14-day free trial, or JABO25 for 25% off your first month. All right, it's time now. Let's talk some player props. All right, bet number one is starting with a little quarterback prop. We got Matthew Stafford. That's right, old man Stafford. Over 269.5 passing yards at minus 114 on FanDuel. Guys, this is way different. I think it was like 6, 7 yards higher on DraftKings. So this is huge value here on FanDuel. But I'm going to be honest with you. I think he gets 300 plus. I don't understand why this is so low. He's gone over this in 3 of 4 games this year. Not one person has thrown the ball more than Matthew Stafford in the NFL through 4 weeks. That's right. Nobody. Sam Howell's number one right now, but that's because he just played week 5. So that, first of all, the volume alone is going to get him mighty close. He now faces a bottom 5 pass defense in the Eagles. I know it's shocking. It's weird to say that was one of their strengths. But their strength right now is a run defense, but their pass defense has been awful. Let me just tell you what they've given up to running or quarterbacks this year. Sam Howell, 290. He went over this. Kirk Cousins, 364. And then Mac freaking Daddy Jones, 316 passing yards. That is horrendous, guys, to give up that much to Mac Jones. I just need 270 yards from a guy who throws it more than anybody else in the NFL. I absolutely love it. And oh, by the way, he gets Cooper Cup back. How about that? Now he has Nakua, Tutu Atwell, Cooper Cup. I mean, guys, it's going to be crazy. And they're going to abandon the run. Like I said, the Phillies defend the run well. Not a lot of teams run a lot of or have a lot of rush attempts against them because it's pointless. You're just running into a wall. So they are going to abandon it quick, especially if they're down, and they're going to throw this ball a ton. I don't mind Stafford over pass attempts either, but I love over passing yards with how low it is. Feel free to ladder this at 300 plus yards, whatever it is you want to do. And like I said, DraftKings has it 6 yards higher at 275.5, I believe. I still like it at that. So give me Stafford over 269.5 passing yards, minus 114 as bet number one. And let's move on to that second one. All right, this second bet is an under. How excited are we? Miles and miles and miles of Sanders. Under 43.5 rush yards at minus 125 on DraftKings. Again, a big discrepancy. This line is 40.5 at FanDuel. I mean, that's 3 more yards. It's huge when he comes to this low of a total. I still like it on both. Sanders has been absolutely awful this year, averaging 2.9 yards per carry. Okay. Now he's facing the Lions, who are the number one rushing defense. The number one, they give up 2.87 yards per carry. So the number is the same. The running back averages 2.9 yards per carry. The Lions give up 2.9 yards per carry. Let's just say he gets 2.9 yards per carry. It's not going to be pretty. They just held Bijan Robinson, my favorite running back in the NFL, maybe right now. He is unbelievable. We all know how good he is. We might talk about him later. They held him to 10 carries for 33 rush yards. I mean, the Falcons' O line knows how to block when it comes to rushing, and Bijan knows how to run. So that is very impressive. Sanders, how about last week against the Vikings? 13 carries for 19 yards. Not so good, guys. He was also questionable for most of this week. He's dealing with an injury. If this game gets out of hand, first of all, they're not going to run the ball much because they're going to be behind, which I expect them to be behind. And then also, if it's a blowout, they're not going to play Miles Sanders. There's no reason to play your number one running back if he was dealing with an injury and you're losing by a lot. So everything on this one points to an under. I see let's go 8 carries for like 25 yards. I mean, it's just not going to be pretty. That's what I see Miles Sanders having. So give me the under 43.5 rush yards. I almost went with the under in the combo rush and receiving, but he can get some receiving yards sometimes. And if they're behind, he might get some dump offs. I didn't want to deal with that. So give me the under 43.5 rush yards. And let's move on to bet number 3. All right, it's time for my favorite portion of the show every single week. It is the kicker prop parlay time, baby. That's right. We've been on a roll with these kicker bets. Here we go. Greg Zuerlein of the Jets and Nick Folk of the Tennessee Titans over 1.5 PATs each at plus 136. That's on DraftKings. Here we go. Now, like I say every week, Greg Zuerlein's on the Jets, so that means the Jets have to score 2 touchdowns. That's the first hurdle that we have to cross. And they are facing the worst defense on planet Earth in the Denver Broncos. Broncos have given up a league lead 5 touchdowns per game, including 4 to Washington, 4 to the Bears, and even the Raiders scored 2. The Raiders' offense is as bad as it gets, guys. Also, they gave up 85 touchdowns to the Dolphins. I don't know, something like that, I think. Yes, I know it's Zach Wilson. I understand that. And we talked about this game in the Wednesday video if you want to check that out. But he has faced tough defenses all year. We talked about that also. This is a huge step down in competition for him. I can't imagine a world where any team doesn't score 2 touchdowns against the Broncos. It cannot be that hard. And now Zerline, he has to make them. He's played in 3 of 4 games this year, and he's gone 3 for 3. Yes, he only has 1 PAT in each game. But again, it was against the Chiefs' top 10 defense, the Patriots' top 10 defense, and the Buffalo Bills' top 10 defense. He now faces the worst defense out there. So I think he's going to at least get 2 chances. I wouldn't be shocked if the Jets scored 3 touchdowns. But then we just need Zerline to make it. And like I said, he went 3 for 3 so far this year. So I like that one as the first leg. Second one, Nick Folk. All right, of the Titans, I know I'm not picking like elite offenses here, but guys, we're just talking 2 PATs. That's all we need. So, the Colts have given up 24.8 points per game, 22nd in the league. So, I mean, come on, we think the Titans can score 2 touchdowns here, right? Every single opponent against the Colts have scored at least 2 touchdowns. The Titans are not known as a juggernaut. I know that, but Derrick Henry owns this Colts team. Even though they are good at defending the run, he absolutely owns them. And I think Tannehill goes over his pass yards. I think he has a great game in this one. I mean, great for Tannehill. You know what I mean? And DeAndre Hopkins and all them. I just think this Colts defense, especially in the secondary, I think they can easily be exposed. And I'm breaking down the team game because that's what you have to do. Now Nick Folk has to make his kicks, guys, but I'm not here making bets just on if the guy is going to kick it well or not. It's about opportunity for kickers. He has a perfect 6 for 6 in PATs though, and by the way, he's also 10 for 10 in field goals just to show how good of a kicker he is. So give me Zerline, give me Folk to go over 1.5 PATs each. That means we are rooting for the Titans to score 2 touchdowns, and we are rooting for the Jets to score 2 touchdowns. That is at plus 136 on DraftKings. And now it's time for that fourth player prop. Okay, my fourth and final player prop before we get into those anytime touchdown bets is a tight end on Sunday Night Football. We got Jake Ferguson over 3.5 receptions at minus 120 on DraftKings. I am shocked it's not 4.5. Honestly, when I went to it, I was expecting it to be 4.5. He's a big part of this offense. He wasn't at the very beginning of the season. Then the Cowboys realized they were being idiots and they need to use him. 7 targets in week 3, 7 targets in week 4. He had 7 catches last week versus the Patriots. I just think this 3.5 is too low, guys. Dak and the Cowboys need to go to him, and they're going to get pressured a lot. And when Dak is pressured a lot, he goes to his tight end quite a bit. The 49ers will get after him. He's not going to be able to have time, wait for the receivers to get all the way downfield or anything like that. So for a guy with 14 targets in his last 2 games, and I'm just needing 4 catches, I mean, I like it there. And I think the Cowboys might need to throw a little bit more than usual. I love the Dak Prescott over pass attempts also. I almost made that a best bet, but didn't quite make the cut. So, but yeah, I mentioned it a few weeks ago also when I bet Jake Ferguson for a touchdown prop. This guy, and this is wild to me, he is the most targeted player still in the red zone. And I don't mean tight end, I mean receivers, everybody. He is the most targeted guy. So he's going to get used for dump offs. He's going to get used near the red zone. I just need 4 freaking catches. Get it done, Ferguson. That's right. So those are the 4 best player props for week 5. And now it's time to talk some touchdowns. All right, let's go. I got 3 of them for you. And just a reminder, I'm only putting a half unit on each of these. You guys do what you need, but that's what I'm doing. So here we go. The first one might be my favorite one of the weekend. It is Devin Achan. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Someone told me in the comments before, and I may have screwed it up again. But Devon Achan, Devin, whatever. He's a running back for the Dolphins. Plus 105 on DraftKings. He has 6 freaking touchdowns in the last 2 games. This guy is an absolute freaking beast. He's starting to take over with Mostert there. He's starting to be the number 1 guy. He followed up that 4 touchdown performance against the Broncos with 2 last week against the Buffalo Bills, which is very impressive. We can get this through the ground or through the air. Honestly, guys, this guy can do it both, which I like more opportunities, obviously. The Giants are tied for the 3rd most rushing touchdowns allowed to running backs at 5 this year. It's a great matchup. They're going to be up by a million in this game probably, so which means more carries for Devon Achan at the end of the game, and that's what I love to see. So give me Achan touchdown plus 105 as my first anytime touchdown. Second one is my boy, Bijan Mustard, baby. That's right. Bijan Robinson touchdown plus 115 on DraftKings. I'm still getting plus money, guys. I could not pass this up. I just love watching this guy run, to be honest with you. He also has the most rushing yards over expected in the league. I think that's what the stat is called, which means, I don't know who calculates it, but based on each run, they say how many yards you should get. He has the most over expected because he's a freaking stud, is what he is. Falcons offense has one touchdown total in the last two games. I understand that, but I'm getting plus money for that reason because this guy is one of the best running backs in the league. I'm expecting a better game from them. Again, we talked about this in that Wednesday night video too. But their Texans, who they are playing, have given up the third most touchdowns to running backs with 5 this season. So they struggle defending the run in general. If the Falcons want to get back on track and end their 2-game losing streak, they need to feed this guy the ball almost every play. I know that's not going to happen, but they need to feed him the ball and get the ball out of Desmond Ritter's hands. So give me Bijan at anytime touchdown plus 115. And my third one, a little bit more of a long shot. We got Garrett Wilson touchdown, the receiver for the Jets at plus 170 on FanDuel. Have I mentioned enough that the Broncos defense sucks? Because they do suck. They are tied for the most touchdowns given up to wide receivers with 6. That's right, 6. This is as good a matchup as it gets. They've been beaten deep many times. You saw it in the Dolphins game, especially. Garrett Wilson can beat DBs deep, and Zach Wilson looks a little bit better in the pocket last week. I'm not saying he's a good quarterback or he's turned the corner or anything, but for the first time this year, guys, he's not going to have pressure in his pocket because he is facing the Broncos who get the least amount of pressure on quarterbacks. I think that's important when it comes to any receiver prop or any receiver touchdown or anything like that. So I think the Jets have a good offensive game. I like their team total over. Just throwing that out there. Also, I think it's 20.5. But plus 170 for the number one receiver on a team to score a touchdown against the number 32 best pass defense or defense in general. I'll take it. Give me Garrett Wilson anytime touchdown. So those are my 3 best touchdown bets. And now let's check out the bets recap. All right, we start out with Matthew Stafford over 269.5 pass yards. Again, I think he gets 300 plus, to be honest with you. And then Miles Sanders under 43.5 rush yards against that tough Lions defense. Then the kicker parlay, Greg Zerline, Nick Folk over 1.5 PATs each. That's extra points at plus 136. And then we end it with the tight end for the Cowboys, Jake Ferguson, over 3.5 receptions at minus 120. And then the anytime touchdown bets, a half unit on each for me. Devon Achan, plus 105, Bijan Robinson, plus 115. And the last one, Garrett Wilson TD at plus 170. I want a Wilson to Wilson. That's right. It reminds me of Castaway. Wilson! That's what I need in that game, though. But, anyways, those are the NFL Week 5 player props. Let's see if we can stay hot. And we got a fun weekend of sports, guys. We have the MLB playoffs and we have NFL. Doesn't get better than that. NBA right around the corner. NHL, I think, is next week. I'm not a big NHL guy. I like it, but I don't follow it. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. But thank you guys for the support. Hit that like button. Leave a comment below. You guys are freaking awesome. Hope everyone has a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.